What's up, guys? Welcome back. This is Twisted Moms episode 3. I just wanted to start off a little bit with, I guess my sincere apologies that I've been a little bit ghost, I guess you can say. As I have mentioned on my social media platforms, life has been lifing. I had just recently graduated college, and then I also moved out, the moving process, things like that. So it was just very hard to manage moving, finishing school. I also started my first big girl job. And just the whole transition of everything, it's been a lot to process. And of course, when I do these videos, I always want to make sure I give you my 100%. So yeah, like I said, it was just a lot to juggle all at once. But things have settled down. I'm a little bit in a better place. So yeah. This episode is going to be a little bit of a trigger warning. There might be some cries and tears and stuff like that. But like I had mentioned previously, it's more raw. You get to really hear conversations and see different point of views and how everyone handles parenthood differently. So this episode, we're going to kind of dive into, a little bit of generational trauma and different parenting styles. And then today's special guest is none the only I don't want to say I'm her twin, my mother. Yay!
Thank you. Yay.
Okay. Yay!
Take off my shoes.
She gonna get comfortable.
You know it. Okay. Got the little pillows.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So as I previously mentioned, we'll be get into the parenting versus how my mom parented me and my brother, and as how I parent differently. Also, too, maybe also talking about the discipline methods, how it's shifted throughout the years. Let me see. Oh, yeah. And then also talking about modern trends like gentle parenting, the role of technology in today's parenting culture.
Gentle parenting, I can't.
I don't think those existed back in your days.
No, the hell they did not. Can I curse?
Yeah, just not too much.
Keep it to a minimum.
Yeah.
I got a potty mouth, people, so just saying.
Okay, so you ready for the questions?
No, but yes. Shoot.
Okay. So what were some of the biggest parenting norms when you were raising kids? And how do you see them changing today?
Well, what do you mean, what?
Like, how do you see yourself parenting me and Julian?
Uh-huh.
The difference between them. And then how do you see the difference even now with, like, just society?
I mean, this generation is disrespectful. It's very different because people had more respect. There was no social media. And I think social media has influenced this generation a lot. Doing even more dumb shit because, likes, watches, people trying to make money. Also, there was just things like we didn't have cell phones back then, some kids had to be home before it was dark. That was like curfew time.
Yeah.
I feel like stuff like that really doesn't exist. I don't want to say completely because I do know myself, even me, like I gave you guys curfew and I expected certain things from you guys, and I just don't see that, like people, don't follow rules or just don't have manners. A lot of them are super disrespectful. Like, I don't. And even though back then, I think, things have always happened. Teenagers will be teenagers. But like I said, there was always like a boundary of, being okay. Like, if, perfect example, if you had a problem with somebody, right? Like you was going to fight after school or something. it will be kept at that. Sometimes the parents will come and not to disrespect the parent. You just be like, all right, like another time, another day. That does not happen nowadays. Like, I've seen videos of moms trying to interfere, protect their children, and they're getting smacked by kids. Like, that's crazy. So it's like there's no boundaries, like super disrespectful, like no morals. I'm not saying everyone, because like there is households, thankfully, that I do see that still try to instill these things in their children.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that don't. So that's
I think also you were even saying, like, because even when I was younger, the technology, like, it was like the sidekicks and the Blackberries. Like, even that. Like, the iPhones didn't come out until I was a little bit older, where the point where, like, the social media was at my hands.
Okay, that's a good point, because when you tell me those things, I think about you when you were really little.
Yeah.
Maybe like 3 to 6 years old. Like, that stuff didn't exist when you were that
No,
little
yeah,
either.
yeah.
You
And
know
then
what
I
I'm
think it's
saying?
also,
So-
too, like, even, like, I even see it now. Like, I don't see kids outside playing.
Oh yeah,
I don't
like that's what I'm saying.
see,
Like,
like-
technology took over. Like, and it may sound like it doesn't, but I feel like that has influenced a lot of stuff, And hey, it has cool benefits, but it's also scary. So,
Yeah. And I think also, too, like, when it comes to, like, these kids as well, I definitely think the pandemic took a really big toll on that. Because I feel like even, like, even sometimes when I ask my brother, like, how his school experience was versus mine, like, he doesn't feel like he learned anything. And a lot of kids, too. Even though they're on the screen, like, they could put their camera off, they could be sleeping, not learning a thing. So I think it's just the only type of knowledge that they take in is the stuff that they see on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And if you're constantly watching these things, it's frying your brain.
yeah. I don't know. I don't think that. I think COVID is just something that we went through. It was what it was. But the things I've seen have been before COVID.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't, Did COVID make things worse for a lot of other things? But that's a whole different topic. So let's not go there.
Okay. Next question. What values did you prioritize as a parent? Do you think those priorities have shifted in today's parenting culture?
Okay, wait. That's a 2-for-1, sis. What was the first one?
Well, it says, what values did you prioritize as a parent? Well, I guess I could go back to what you were saying with the whole, like, boundaries and respecting.
Well, yeah, and teaching kids how to, say hello when they enter a room. Good morning, good night. Thank you. You're welcome. Like, that's something that and I take pride in, people would, like, my kids were always, for the most part, well behaved and not like just being rude or annoying. Also, I wanted you guys to have a routine. Unfortunately for me, I never really had that as a younger person. So that was really important for me to do for you guys. I mean, you and your brother went to the same elementary school, middle school, different high schools, but same neighborhood, and that's something, I didn't have for the most part. So I could say those are two things that were important for me, for you guys.
Well, I can definitely say, even with the whole routine, I think that you installed that in me. Because even with Zion, like, when we're out of routine or something, it drives me nuts. Like, it's a good thing, but it also has, like, this little thing. So I think that's when the OCD comes in, and it's like,
because sometimes it doesn't work out like that.
Yeah.
So that's what you learn when you start dealing with life and being a parent and real life shit. Yeah, as I want to say, just as a mom, because there's single dads out there too, or they're dads that are team players, and they have to help the wife and okay, who's picking up who's dropping off who's home doing dinner. There are families like that. Yeah. So it doesn't just land on moms sometimes too. Okay, so shout out to the good dads. Wait, what was the question again? I tend to do this a lot. Anyone that knows me knows this about me.
Well, what values did you prioritize as a parent? And do you think those priorities have shifted in today's parenting culture?
For the new generation, this is the second question. For the new generation, yes. yes and no, because perfect example, you said, okay, that I instilled certain things for you that you're trying to do with your son. So because you had that, I guess, so it goes with you. Some, not all kids have that, you know. So to me, I always say either you're gonna break the cycle or you're gonna continue it, right? And it just can go both ways. So I feel like it can be influential because, again, some people like yourself had it and you're doing it. Some people didn't have it, so they don't do it. Some people didn't have it, and because they want the opposite of that, they do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I know people that had great upbringing, great parents, and they didn't turn out to be the best people. Yeah. I have people that had, you know, shit childhoods, went through a lot of stuff, or both parents weren't present, and they are great human beings because they want to be the opposite of what they had to see their parents endure, or siblings, or people they were close to.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. How do you feel about the modern focus on gentle parenting and emotional validation?
I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. So gentle parenting is what? Being nice to your kid even when they're being a pain in the ass?
I say gentle parenting is for gentle kids. That's how I look at it.
Exactly.
Like,
wow, look at that. We agree.
Yeah, because sometimes I can't gentle parent.
You know why? Because now you're a mom.
Yeah.
So now you know what it is. Exactly. So, listen. I don't, you know, it's not like I believe in, you know, spanking your kids all the time. But there comes a time your kid needs to get spanked because they're acting up. Hey, you know, sometimes it happens. Now, not consistently and stuff like that. You want to try to talk to the kid, you know, as they're growing, make them understand certain things, but sometimes it doesn't work out like that. So shit happens.
And then
Como una galleta.
And then the emotional validation part.
Yeah, I think that, you know, yeah, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. You know, something I had to learn, you know, as my kids got older, especially dealing with a daughter. And being my first kid, you know, I made mistakes sometimes, and I have had to apologize, right? Like, or I've apologized, maybe not all the time, but there's certain times that I know I make mistakes, and I've said sorry to you, you know, we've had a conversation about it, you know what I'm saying? I don't think, you know, I guess when the child is telling the parent, you know, you're making me feel bad, or that's messed up, and there's nothing wrong, I think, with a parent apologizing if they know they made a mistake. But there's times that you guys may think we're doing something wrong because we're seeing different, you know, we're not seeing eye to eye. And I think that's where we're going to clash, because I don't know how to explain it. You know, I can feel a way about something. You may not see it like that. And then there's certain things that I'm going to stick to it. And so are you. So then you're going to be like, well, you're not validating my feelings, or you're not seeing where I'm coming from. And I just think that, you know, sometimes that happens. But there has been issues between me and her where I do realize after, okay, I'm wrong. You know, let me talk to her. Let me apologize. You know, but I don't feel like you do that.
What?
Like, sometimes you say or just are like not a nice person, and you don't apologize all the time.
I don't apologize all the time, but I don't even say but. I think it's more in a sense of me having very strong feelings about whatever I feel, whether it's my opinion or even some things with Zion. I think it's just I may sometimes have a wrong approach to certain things, but the intention is always like the point is always there, if that makes sense. So it's not that I'm like, okay, you're wrong, I'm right. I just feel like I see it for myself as I get older. I speak up more with things that you may not have ever even known bothered me, or you may have not even known that was my point of view. Because when I was younger, it was like child, adult. Now that I'm an adult, I have
Okay,
different
exactly.
point of
And I
views.
had to learn that as well, that you have become a young adult, a young woman, and I can't do those stuff no more because you're not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
So that was an adjustment for me. Plus, you moved out of my house at a young age. You moved with dad because, you thought the grass was going to be greener on the other side, but, it didn't work out like that.
That
So
will be another episode.
maybe we should bring your dad on this.
All right. Absolutely. Absolutely not. I'll probably walk out. Absolutely not.
I think it'll be okay. We'll be okay.
Were there things you did as a parent that you now see differently? I feel like all these questions are like meshing with each other.
I feel like, are you going to end up asking me something that you've been wanting to ask me? And are you going to ask me in front of everyone? And
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
going to be left with a choice to
No,
answer?
because I showed you the PDF beforehand.
You do, but your mama ain't not going to remember all that stuff, sis. Okay, wait. Well, I don't even remember what was the question 2 seconds ago.
Were there things you did as a parent that you now see differently? So I guess in a sense, like things that you did as a parent that maybe you were like,
yes. Not. See, it's hard for me to explain it because you and your brother are very different people. First of all, you're a female, he's a male. You guys have different personalities. I would say not being as strict, but it's just I've never really had to like make these hard rules for Julian, or because he's more calmer than you were, sis. So I
feel like he had a lot more resemblance of dad, and then I had more resemblance of you. That's why I feel like it was like, because he's more calmer.
Being a teenager, you're stubborn, you're a girl, and I being in the field that I've worked in and seen so much adolescent or teenagers, because I'm in the medical field, it's not just you. It's just teenage years are rebellious for most, some kids are just more rebellious than others. Some kids are just real fucking badasses. So everyone has different shit to deal with. But I think because I tried to protect you so much, and I just didn't want you to, deal with shit, I was a strict parent with you. And then, once you moved out with dad, it just kind of like backfired on me. So that's kind of like a lesson that I had to learn, Maybe if I would have had another girl, or maybe another different type of child where, I needed to set rules, I would have maybe not been so like strict. Maybe it would have worked different. Maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. I guess it's something I'll never know. Like, again, with your brother is just, even now with him, it's an adjustment because he's a young adult. He goes out now. I can't really be like, I want you home by 9 o'clock, because he'll look at me like I'm crazy, and he's a good kid, so, and he holds his own. So I can't really, do that with him. Yes. So, yeah.
Okay. Do you think discipline methods have evolved for the better or for the worse?
I don't think this generation gets disciplined enough. Again, I mean, listen, it's just so many different households. It all comes down to this generation is disrespectful. So that's why I think, like, they're not getting parented. They're not getting taught stuff at home, Like, listen, and I can't speak for everyone. I don't want to speak for everyone, but the environment you grow up in plays most times a big factor in how you are.
Yeah.
At least some of it, I think. And it's all upon you if you want to break that cycle or continue it. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Let's see. Next question. How did your upbringing shape the way you parent?
I didn't have a lot of the stuff that you guys have. So much like that I can answer to that. So that's why it's like I'm trying to put the words together. Well, trying to take care of you so much. I was on my own at a very young age, and I saw a lot of stuff at a very young age that I wouldn't want you guys to see or deal with. So that's what made me want to give you guys a routine, a stable home, even though you guys were raised in with two different households because me and dad separated. I tried my very best, and I couldn't even say this for your dad, like to co-parent as best as we can, so you guys can feel comfortable being in my house, being at dad's house, me talking with dad about having a certain routine with you guys when you guys were younger.
Yeah.
So I didn't have none of that. My parents separated and never spoke to each other again.
Yeah.
So, and I hate that. I mean, you saw after so many years they were brought together and they didn't even speak. So, I'm just happy that me and dad are like, we can be cool, and we've always been able to co-parent.
Yeah.
So I think that influenced that a lot. Again, we're not perfect. We've made mistakes as a co-parenting team, but we're always present and we always try to do things. I didn't get none of that. And I think that plays a part in certain things with you or with your brother, just being present, not having you guys move around. Like, there's just a lot that I did different for you guys than I had.
Yeah.
And I must say, I am proud of that.
Well, I think also too, like, I never understood that, like, with like how overprotective you were, because I wasn't a mom myself. Like, now with Zion, I want to protect him from everything and anything. I don't want to see him cry because of somebody, or I don't want to see him get his heart broken. I don't want to see him do all these things.
Wait until he gets older.
Exactly. And these are all things that I even think about now, and he's only 2. And that's something that I'm learning, like, even my therapist has told me, or other people, like, you can't hold that so much. Like, that's so much for you to hold as one person, because at the end of the day, we're living in a world. You can protect him as much as you want, but the moment those doors open and they go out to the world, they're going to go through stuff. And I think it's just how I can navigate it is kind of like, just be open about it. I think that that's one thing that I wish that we could have been a little bit more like consistent with like the openness. Kind of like, I feel like it was more, you were wanting to protect me and you were wanting to make sure I didn't go through these things. But then sometimes when I did, it was more like you were more upset about me doing it than actually like going through it, if that makes sense. And I think
guess, yeah, it's your point of view. So, there's certain things that, yeah, I mean, like I said, you were a teenager, you were being rebellious. So in your mind at that moment, you wanted to do something. And because I knew certain outcomes of certain things, that's why I was like that.
Yeah.
So, it's once you're a parent, and that's why I always told you, like, one day you're going to understand certain things. And you've told me now certain things like, hey, mom, I get it now, and as he gets older, you're going to feel more things, you're going to understand more things, and it's just, you're going to think about me a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
As the time comes,
I had a long way to go.
And you only have one, so even if you have more, like, when you have more than one child, you're going to dealing with different personalities, different things, so.
Yeah. Okay. Were there cycles or behaviors from your parents that you tried to break when raising us?
Absolutely, of course. Again, just giving you guys structure, routine, stable home. Yeah, I mean, it's too much to get into, but But yeah, I used to get my ass kicked a lot. I try not. I mean, you girl, you are different. You know, yeah, I get the butt kicked. Really put my hands on him. Maybe like
No, I think like playing around, like you guys will horse around a lot and stuff.
yeah,
Like,
and
he'll
then
get,
you
like, on
take
your
it there.
nerves.
Yeah, but I
like
had to
the way
like.
with me, no. Absolutely.
Well, again, you know, you were different. You were more challenging. But I used to, yeah, my mom.
Used to beat that ass.
My mom's hands was disrespectful. You know, so stuff like that. Yeah, but pretty much, you know, like I said, steady home, same school. I changed schools a lot when I was young, you know, and I hated that. I didn't settle down somewhere for a while until I got to like the middle school, which is when I moved back to New York.
Yeah.
So elementary schools, I was all over the place, and I wanted that to be different for you guys. Have the same friends, be able to grow up with people, you know, same neighborhood, and I think you have. I mean, when you go to my neighborhood, you bump into so many people you know.
Yeah.
You know,
And people be surprised that you still live in the same like neighborhood.
Yep, I've been there as long as I've had Julian. I moved there when
18
Julian.
years?
Yeah, well, Julian was 2 months old.
Yeah,
when
so
we moved.
2006.
7.
Oh,
Remember, he
yeah,
was born in
yeah,
November,
yeah,
and we
yeah.
moved in the new year.
That's crazy.
Who, by the way, many years later, when she was in middle school,
What?
ended up having a friend that lived in our first apartment in our neighborhood, and
Talk about across the street?
yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And she got to even go in that apartment. I think because I was so upset why you were in that apartment that day, because
cutting school.
she got caught cutting school.
By my grandmother.
And how, I don't think we ever got to like, did I ask you how was it in there? Was it the same or?
Honestly,
Can you remember?
not really. It was a very blurry day.
Oh my God.
I think majority of that apartment was like white, and I know when we were living there, it was like beige-ish, right?
Yeah, because Dad painted it, and then the living room. I think the living room was actually the color of my kitchen now. No, it was more orange.
Orange. No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was the one with the beige, with the one when we lived on the second floor.
No, that was beige, and my room was red, like now.
Oh yes.
And then
that was the apartment where you had the long mirror of the skyline, right? I think in the living room.
yes, where Sharon lived. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It was.
Yeah,
I think
don't
you did
remember
tell me
much.
that they painted it.
Yeah, it was just more like white. Would it be like recognizable the way like we had it? No, not at all.
I would have gone in that apartment. I would have been a hot mess. Like even now, like I always say when I go to Chicago, I'm gonna go try to go in my grandma's house. Like I'm gonna go knock on their door, but I'm gonna bring my cousin with me, who is Chicago's finest. So he said I'll come through and help you out because they might look at you like you're crazy. No, just like like it's okay. So someone knocking on your door. Can I come in I used to live here. Can I come in? They might not feel comfortable. I'll be like, I have Fabo with me. You good? It's more of like, something that I want to do. I haven't been in that house, in my grandma's apartment, because they had tenants there for a minute now. So I haven't been down there in a long time. And that's where I spent a lot of my childhood.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. Looking back, do you recognize any generational trauma that was passed down?
Yeah, I mean, being stubborn.
Impatient. Short fuse.
Well, okay, tell them why you mad, sis.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, but that's just, I guess, sometimes also my what do you call it, defense mechanism. One thing I think that my mom passed down to me is like the crying, bro. My mom gets very emotional, and so do I. And like now that we're both getting older, I I see it, and now I'm like, this is why I'm so emotional. Or like when I worry with you guys, and I like drive you guys nuts. Like I notice and I catch she does it to me, and I have to tell her sometimes, like, stop. You're stressing me out. You're over worrying, and then I catch that I do it sometimes. So I'm trying to work on that. Yeah, I'm trying to work on that.
Yeah. Whole grown up with a kid. Are you okay? And I appreciate it.
Yeah,
sometimes.
but that's never gonna stop. Like real mom, a good mom, that job never ends. You know what I'm saying? Until
like,
you guys
I could
are
be
older.
outside doing my business. You okay? You've been in that spot for like 20 minutes. Like what? Like what if I was just like having fun or something? Like
okay, have all the fun you want, sis. Just checking in. Just check in with your mama.
Oh my God, there would be sometimes people be like, who is that? Like it'd be like 2, 3 in the morning and I'm out. I'm just hanging out with a friend and my phone be ringing or something.
But let me tell you something.
They'll be like, who is that? I'll be like,
yeah, and let me tell you something. I don't know, because you always are with certain different people. I'm pretty sure one of those parents are like, damn, that's cool. At least your mom gives a fuck. Because not everybody has that.
No, yeah,
and
for
it's
sure.
not like yo la estoy regañando or, telling, messing up, telling you to come home. Or I'm just checking in, making sure, you're fine. I know you be out, you drink.
Yeah.
So I'm always that's something I'm never going to stop doing. You could have 5 more babies, have a husband. And I even tell your brother the same thing. You could be married, have kids. And that's just part of being a mom. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't wait to Zion's going out and doing. I mean, I can't wait. I don't want him to get that big because I love him being so little.
People always say,
but at the same time,
wait.
I'm like, you gonna see what you put me through.
People be like, I can't wait till he's older. Pump the brakes. I want to still be able to carry my baby. Like the other day when I saw you carrying him, I'm like, bro, he's so big. Like I remember when he was literally like this small.
So, because I have the experience that I know that they're going to grow and stuff. So, when he came home, I remember. Well, I did it to all of you guys. I said it to Julian last night, actually.
The size of his foot.
Was my pinky. My pinky size.
My son was
little.
Yeah, my son was born. He was very, he was on the smaller side. So
But you guys, that's what I'm saying. I did it. That's what I said. I said it. I did it to you and your brother, and it was the same thing. And it's like now,
Getting big.
Guys are big.
Okay. How do you think parents can balance respecting family traditions but also breaking unhealthy cycles?
Wait, what? It's like long ass questions. It's like,
how do you think parents can balance respecting family traditions while also breaking unhealthy cycles?
See, that's like a rhetorical question. Like,
I feel like, unfortunately, Spanish families they have a lot of unhealthy cycles that are considered traditional.
Like what?
Okay, for example, like having, I'm not saying you did it all the time, but there was times, and I've had like conversations with other people, like family parties, right? And in a sense of like just a bunch of kids just being all together, around drinking, smoking. Like I said, not you. I'm just saying, like, but there has been like a lot of people that can say that's been me, or let's say, having their kids out till late, things like that. They look at it because it's traditional. People are just gathering and stuff like that, but it's not really should be a norm. If that makes sense.
I mean, there's different situations. You know what I mean? So would I be with you guys certain times, and I'm at a friend's house, we're listening to music, drinking and stuff like that, and you guys would be in another room, all the kids playing, watching movies, doing whatever it is you do. But there was situations where things would shift, people would start doing other stuff or just things. And I personally, I would probably just leave or, I would just take you guys home.
Yeah.
But, I guess in a Spanish. So what are you saying, like taking the kids to the parties at nighttime?
No, but I think it's just also like.
I used to do it. I would like I would only do it if I knew there was kids going, then I would take you. Because if I'm taking my kids and no one else is going to I know you guys are going to get bored and you guys are going to drive me fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to end up wanting to leave anyways.
Yeah. Because
I'm not going to deal with that. It's either I'll do it on my own time or I'll try to make plans with friends that have kids your age.
Yeah.
So it's funny because now I see like your generation, like I see you doing it, or I'll see like more, that you guys try to do certain things with the kids together, you know, because if you're all gonna hang out with your homegirls and you only one with the kid, you know, sometimes people do it because, you know, sometimes, you
they
know,
don't have a choice.
Yeah, and they want to just hang out for a little bit because they're always home. Yeah, but the reality is that the kid is gonna probably get bored or end up falling asleep or end up, you know, nagging you because they don't have nothing better to do there.
Yeah.
You know, they want to be in their own comfort zone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with it because I also grew up.
But that's what I'm saying, because you grew up on it. It's kind of a generational thing. But in reality, and the real retro, like the outside of it, people maybe non-Hispanic people, or I don't even want to say non-Hispanic, because maybe just different people that grew up differently, they'll be like, that's a normal thing for you guys, you know. Or for example, I feel like Hispanic families, or maybe other, I don't know, but I personally, in my experience, I feel like Spanish people, we're very like gossipers. We're very big on like bochinche,
talking
chisme.
shit.
Yeah. And in reality, it's like, it's not a good thing, you know, or sharing like business amongst other families, or like amongst family members, and being like, you know, you don't want to sit here and say anything.
I think all families do that. Like all families talk shit about each other.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's a generational thing. It's not healthy, but it's a generational thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, even though for us, it might not seem like it's a unhealthy thing because it's been there for so long. But then when you start to see certain other dynamics, you start to be like, damn, maybe this is a little bit not healthy.
I guess, you know. Like exactly, point proven. Like you see certain things one way and I see them in this instant like a different way. So plus you're also younger, so you might see definitely things a little different.
I think it's also too, not just with it being me younger. I think there's been more, how do I say, more like regulations and more like spotlights on how to be a parent. I think it also has to do with social media and you know, a lot of like networking.
Like, you know, this gentle parenting stuff, you know, like it's talked about more now, like validating your kids' feelings, trying to meeting them halfway and stuff, you know. So yeah, I guess now it's talked about more, so certain things are more normal now than before, because before therapy really didn't exist. A lot of stuff didn't, you know, exist back then that exists now. So it changes things. So yeah.
What are some way parents can actively heal generational wounds?
What do you mean?
Like, how do you think, in your shoes, that you can heal certain things that you feel like that have come down generationally?
Well, I try to validate your feelings. I try to apologize when I make mistakes. You know, I fucking never got apologies when I was young. So, yeah, things like that, you know, like validating you guys, like with your brother sometimes, you know, I'm starting to try to see it, I guess, because sometimes like he'll tell me something and I don't agree with it, so he's told me, instead of you trying to learn why I'm telling you this, you want to argue, like, you know.
He's a lot more blunter. He has a lot more pelotas than I, because the way he be debating with my mom, and
but
his age, I would have been like,
no, but it's not like he's disrespectful, you know. He's
very strong, opinionated.
He's sarcastic.
Yep, wonder where he gets that from.
No, but again, this is things that, you know, I learned certain things from you, and then I'm learning certain things from your brother. Your brother's also now a young adult.
Yeah.
So I'm learning to deal and approach him differently now, because he's not a little kid no more. You know what I'm saying? He drives, he works, he helps me in certain things. You know what I mean? So I try to, well, I've been trying to, like, when he tells me something, just if I don't, like, if I feel like, that maybe he's wrong and I'm right, like, I'll just try to explain it to him or listen to his point of view, I guess. So, yeah.
But I think also too, you helping with generational, like you being able to like express
and getting along with my baby daddy. That is a big one because my parents could not co-parent. They could not talk to each other. They cannot be in the same room. Like, it was bad. You know, me and your dad we have our arguments. We'll have our fallouts.
It's taken a long time to get where we are today.
Well, yeah. You know, it took us a few years to get it together, but there was also feelings involved. The hearts were broken, mistakes were done, and that's just a reality. You know, that's why, to me, I say this all the time. When people co-parent, once feelings are gone for good, like, you just really see that person. Like, I see him as my family. You know, and obviously my ex-husband, but he's part of our family. I co-parent, and we're going to be involved forever, no matter what. Now we have a grandson. So it's like we're starting a new journey as grandparents. That's just the reality of it. So I'm going to try to, you know, get along with him and stuff like that. Like, my parents didn't do none of that.
Yeah.
And I think, imagine you having to, like, I mean, I guess it's a little different because also my parents didn't even live in the same state. So it still would have been hard co-parenting, but they never spoke, nothing. Me and dad are like the total opposite of that. And again, it took us a long time to get there because there were still feelings involved in the beginning. That's just the reality of it. He was in a relationship, so was I, but it's like that. The reality is things are not going to go away right away. With that being said, once the feelings were over, our co-parenting journey was smooth.
Yeah.
Like, you know, do we get upset sometimes because of things with the kids? Yes, because he may want to do something differently that I want to do something differently with the kids, or vice versa. That's it. But I don't care what's going on in his life. He don't care what's mine. He has his partner. I have my partner. We're all cool. We all do events together. Like, and if you're still beefing with your co-parenting team after so many years being separated, it's because there's still feelings. There's still some type of feeling there.
Yeah.
And people don't like to admit that or say it. But on a personal level, I know, because once feelings went away, everything went smooth sailing.
I don't think it necessarily means like feelings like romantically. It can be like feelings of hurt or feelings of like resentment.
Yes.
Like, in a sense,
no. Okay, no. I yes and no. You can feel some type of way because you're feeling bitter, or he broke your heart, or she broke your heart. Those feelings, I think, are very different from if he or she is bringing a new partner around and you feeling some type of way.
Yeah.
So now you're not gonna be thrilled, or you're gonna be upset. That's because you still have feelings.
Yeah.
Deep down, feelings that people do not like to admit because they're not with the person did something fucked up, and that's why they're not together. But that's just how I see it. People may think differently and, you know, or have different reasons. But to me, like, if you still, you know, making the other person's life difficult, or making pickup or drop-offs difficult, or just being a jerk about certain things, is because you still have feelings. Whether they be like a lot of feelings or little feelings. Like, that's just, what do you know? Like, well, listen, that's a whole nother episode.
Had a really big like conversation because you seen like my postpartum was like really bad. I can sit here and say like I'm very open about it. I'm very like aware of how like my postpartum was. Do you think that like you in any type of way went through postpartum, whether it was with me or whether it was with my brother?
I probably was, but I didn't know about postpartum. See, those things weren't really talked about back then.
Yeah.
Jesus, I sound like my mama. Oh, my Lord. Oh. Just she would be saying this stuff in Spanish. Yeah, I mean, I I mean, I went, like, with your pregnancy, I went through the motions because I was young. I was accepting the fact that I was a teen mom.
Yeah.
You know, instead of hanging out, going out, I finished high school and I was at home being a wife, and I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So I wasn't hanging out like that no more. You know, I remember the first week you were home, Dad was gonna go play pool with my brother, and I was about to get ready to go, and then your dad was like, "Who's staying with the baby, sis?" And I'm like, "Damn, have a good time, buddy." You know, even though I had the option with grandma, but you know, you were a newborn. I was like, "Nah, I'll just." You're right. Oops.
Yeah.
I got a whole newborn. I fucking forgot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was dealing with that, you know, and I would get sad sometimes and be frustrated, but also because I was a baby having a baby.
Yeah.
I was so young, you know. With Julian, it was a different experience. And I don't want to say he was planned, because he really wasn't, but we expected it to happen because, you know, we weren't taking care of ourselves. You know what
but
I'm
I
saying?
think it's also because it's like you guys were making your family. Because I know you guys both said, like, you guys wanted to expand and stuff like that. But I think it's rather with me, it was, you guys were still a lot younger. Me and Julian are 6 years apart.
Exactly.
So I think, but do you feel like even now, like, because I have had these conversations with you of like how I felt like with postpartum, do you feel like you have ever thought back and be like, oh wait, maybe I felt those things, maybe that was postpartum?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there was times that I'll be upset, I'll be crying, you know. I would say probably more to be honest with you, because with Julian, like, I don't really remember, like, really remember being like upset. So the thing is that, unfortunately, you know, not after Julian was born. I mean, when me and Dad got separated, Julian was under 2 years old. So I was also going through a separation when Julian was a baby. So I was dealing with emotions and heartaches, but it's because I was going through something. So I really can't tell you, like,
if it was because of your personal or like because it was postpartum.
Exactly. You know, I mean, there came a time me and Dad decided to get separated. I lost my job.
Yeah.
I had to start financially moving different because I really wasn't counting with that for everything.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just, I had a lot of things that changed all at once, you know, so.
Yeah, you're not really able to depict if it was.
Yes, with you, like I said, a little more, because I just remember being upset and sad, but then I was also very young, you know. I had just finished school. I had other plans for college, and it just didn't work out like that because of certain things. Because, like, I've always told her, you can do anything you put your mind to, even with a child. But with kids, when you have a kid, things become, you know, are harder. Things do get harder. They're more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's hard, but it's not impossible. That's for sure.
That's about right. And then, what is one lesson or piece of wisdom you would like to pass down to our future generation, meaning like Zion?
Hey, Zion. I can't tell yet because Zion is so little. I have to see, like, how, you know, his character is as he's getting older.
Okay, so maybe not particularly with Zion, but maybe just future generations, like something that you could sit here and say that you wish you told not only to me but to Julian as well, like that you feel like that can be like a general, like, for just future generations.
I mean, what I always tell you, you know, work hard, don't depend on nobody. Don't ever depend on nobody but yourself. I mean, obviously, like, I have family, you have family. We all try to help each other when possible. But at the end of the day, there is going to be certain moments that you are going to have yourself.
Yeah.
So make sure you're able to, if that moment comes.
Yeah.
By making certain decisions, prioritizing. I mean, you know, I tell you stuff all the time. Prioritizing certain things.
Yeah.
So
I think, well, at least for my part, like enjoy being a kid? I know you're probably looking
Well, I
at me
told
like,
you, sis, you wanted to freaking grow up, but I think we all go through that, and that's just the reality that we get hit with. Everyone says it. I wish I never wanted to grow up so fast.
yeah. I look at it like I wish I
Because you
could be
guys,
17 again.
not you guys, we all think it's gonna get better. We're gonna be able to do whatever we want. We're gonna be able to work, get money, and you don't understand that with that comes more responsibility,
Stress, work.
stress. Yeah, man, like
Adulting be adulting.
life be lifing, and enjoy being young, being not having to pay for shit, people buying you your clothes, paying your rent for you. It's like so much things that now you have to do for yourself, right? And then you'd be like, damn, I could have, maybe I would have done certain things a little different. I could have still had it, not at this point because you're already an adult, but a little longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, that concludes today's episode. Thank you to my mommy for coming and joining and hearing her point of view, and I guess having the conversation where I don't want to sit here and say, because one thing I can say about me and my mom, we have, as I got older and as she kind of allowed me to kind of just bloom into my own person, I feel like we've gotten more comfortable with speaking to each other. And my mom has always been like a very big advice type of person, so we have had these conversations. But I guess being able to,
you've never really said that to me. You do have a real cool mom, Sam, just saying.
So but yeah, I think it's just it's good to see. And at the end of the day, one thing I always clarify in every single episode is that everyone's dynamic is different, everyone's village is different. And everyone has different point of views, but that doesn't necessarily mean that like you're not able to do it. Because when I had my son, I can only tell you, like, I really thought that, like, people were like, oh, you're gonna be okay, and I never thought that. But I think as I get out of that type of like mentality and that cycle, I'm able to see, like, thankfully I have my mom to help me, I have my brother to help me, I have my grandmother to help me, my other I'm blessed to have my village. So again, I just giving you a little glimpse of my village and where I come from. So,
well, I also want to take this time, with your audience here watching, to tell you that I'm very proud of you, Sam. You have accomplished a lot through a lot of trials and tribulations. And I always tell you this, you're one of the most resilient persons that I know. And I don't know how you feel about that, because sometimes I think someone can be like, well, it's a great thing but also a bad thing, because it's like, how much more shit do I have to keep on surviving through? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with that being said, it's just because I want you to understand how strong you are, Sam. Fucking stubborn, but very strong, Sam. And I know that Z's gonna be so proud of you, and you're finally starting to get into the rhythm of things, and you just graduated college with a toddler. Not a lot of people can do that, because it's a challenge. And you had a lot of them, but you got through it, Sam.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. I finished certain things with school, and I did trade school, but that's a big deal. And I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And I love you very much.
I love you too.
My mama.
And that's all, folks. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever it is. And until next time.
You gotta get your dad over here.
Absolutely not.
Hey, why not? Hey, loosen up, girl. Hey. 1, 2, 3. Action.
What's up, guys?
Oh, Jesus. No, mija.
Nuestros actores están de quinta.
Okay. Okay.
One more time. 1, 2, 3, take 2. Uncomfortable.
Your mic.
Oh my. No, pues qué chimba sin micrófono.
No puedo hablar.
We also have as an audience today my grandmother. She'll say hi later on.
So we told her she's not allowed to talk, and she's over there trying not to laugh. I cannot. Okay, wait. I don't need to press any buttons, right?
No, I don't think so.
All right, people, bear with me, please.
Okay.
One more time. Hey.